everyone and welcome to my channel. If you'd like to subscribe, you'd be more than welcome. Today we're going to be working on making a tea and a coffee and a sugar pot for our dolls. Hope you'll come and join me. So all I've done is taken some pink. I got a piece of pink and I conditioned it really well. And then I took a piece of white as well and I've just mixed them together so I've got a lovely marble effect. Okay, so I've literally just rolled this and mixed it together in my hands until I've got a nice sort of colouring that I want. I'm going to place my popsicle stick here, okay, so that I can get a straight edge on both sides of my cut. If you're going to get this blade, I wouldn't bother getting these things which are on the ends of it. I just find they get in the way. Just so happened I couldn't find the one I actually wanted, was trying to go for, so I just grabbed this one for a second. But I find those bits get in my way. So you've got a nice straight edge there. So because my edge is mostly pink, I want to have a mostly pink base. Grab my other rolling pin a second. So I'm just going to roll it out, and I'm going to take the bottom, or that would be the top of my actual pot which I had for the other one, and I'm just going to cut myself out a base like that. Okay, and there you have your base, all lovely. And you probably want whatever the colour is going to be at the bottom of your polymer clay, the main colour, you probably want to go with that. So I'm going to go with the pink, and I'll just use my tool to come around and lift it off. Oh, so what I've got here is a 5mm varnish. I don't know if you can see, it's all gone, there's nothing in it, but the bottle is a brilliant size. It's not too far off the inside of that bottle there, and with the thickness, because obviously this is quite thin, with the thickness of the dough that we're going to be using, that should make roughly the same sort of size pot as that one. So I've got a straight edge here. I'm just going to place it onto that bottle. So what you just need to look for is a bottle about the size which you want your pot to be. Okay, and I'm just going to pop it around. Now you don't have to have all the same size pots, you can go for different size pots if you want to. And then I'm just going to cut the edge here. Okay, I'm just going to remove that one piece. There we go. And then here I'm just going to smooth those lines together. Now obviously it's not going to be an exact match because you've got two different colours of clay on there. And try not to push it up too far, trying to keep that straight line at the top as neat as you possibly can. Okay, and don't worry too much because we can cut that. You can cut polymer clay after it has been cooked. So I'm just getting it on there and I'm just smoothing it around with my fingers all over till I get a nice smooth thing, and then you can roll it back and forth on your piece of glass or your piece of tile or whatever you might be using to get a nice straight edge on it. And then we'll take our base, we'll pop that onto the bottom, and we'll just come around and we'll just gently with our fingers push that base onto the top of the clay, so you can sort of wiggle it on there, just press it down all the way around, and then just keep going around until you find that you're not noticing that line hardly at all. And what you can do is just roll it a couple of times up and down, push your base down so you've got a nice flat base, and you'll find that it starts to look more as if it's all part of the pot itself. Alright, and there we go. Make sure that stands up nice and straight, so have a look at it from all angles and see that you're actually getting sort of a straight angle onto it. Okay, you don't want it sort of leaning too far to one side or anything. Okay, it's probably best to do it like that and place it on and just go around and just trim off any excess dough you might have. Okay, then remove that so you've got a nice straight line. This bottle I actually left the lid on when I put it in the oven, and it was absolutely fine because you're only putting it in on a very low heat. Right, so even though the lid of the bottle was plastic, it didn't melt or anything, it was fine. So obviously you want to try that out on yours first. That's fine, you know, just make sure you know what you're doing. We're just going to bake this for 10 minutes. So here it is. It's had it's at 10 minutes, and I had a bit of a job getting it off, but I pulled and eventually it did just slide off the bottle. It's come out really nicely. I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's going to be nice for the tea and coffee. So that's my top. That'll be the bottom of my pot. So all I need to do now is to make a top. And then I took my emery board, and I just took my pot and I just rubbed it on the emery board until I got a nice flat surface all the way around. And this works really well. It also works well if you've got anything which you don't like on the surface of your pot. You can just go around and take this emery board and just knock off anything. If there's any bits of dirt which you think, oh, I didn't like that on there. And I'll just cut a circle out of there. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want this circle to be slightly smaller, so I'm just going to trim it just a tiny bit off each side. So I've got a piece which will fit inside it. Like that, that's brilliant. Okay, I just get it so that it just fits in that inside that top, which that will do. There we go, so that's fine. Okay, and I will use that, and I'll pop this one back in for its extra 20 minutes, and I use this as my base, my lid. So this is the piece which I've cut for the inside of my lid, and then I've got another piece here which I've cut, which is slightly larger. So I've sort of made it round, and I've just sort of stretched it a little bit. I used this one to cut it out, but it was a little bit too small, so I'm just going to stretch it a tiny bit more. So I'm just rolling out a piece which I don't want it to be too thin. I just want to keep it reasonably plump, and I'm just going to cut that out. This will be the inside, because if you remember, this one we made slightly smaller. So I'm going to take this piece here, and then I've got this slightly bigger piece, and I'm just going to bring it around, and I'm going to fold it over all the way around, so you're getting more of a dome shape for the lid of it, like that. Okay, so this will be your lid, just like that. There you go, so you've got a nice dome shape to it. Alright, when you go to pick it up, what you want to do, there we go, is slide your your blade underneath it. Okay, and then you've got this nice dome shape here, and you can just come around inside and just neaten up that inside just a little bit. But you've got a lovely dome on the top, and then we're going to take our smaller piece, and I'm going to use a tiny bit. You don't have to have this, but I've got a little bit of liquid Fimo. This will work just perfectly fine without this, but I'm just going to put a tiny bit on it just to stick it together. You don't need very much at all, and that'll just help it stick. You don't need to have that at all. It's just that, so I've got it, so I think I might as well use it. So I'm going to try and get that right in the very center there. Okay, so that's in the center of my lid. Alright, so that should be absolutely fine. I don't want to push this down too hard, so that was why I used that liquid Fimo, because I don't want that to come out of shape, because I want that still to be able to fit into that lid. And then I'm going to grab another bit of the liquid Fimo, and I've just made a small ball which I'm going to roll into sort of a cylinder shape, and that's going to go on the top of my lid. And I'm just going to cut a tiny bit of liquid Fimo on that as well. There we go. I'm going to pop that right in the very center. So that will be my lid. Okay, just bring that up, just get it into where you want it to be, get it the shape you want it, make sure it's definitely in the center there. And that's my base, which is just finished there. So I just go and grab the base out of the oven. If you can get a bit of liquid Fimo on it, just take it up with your finger. Okay, so here are our 3 little pots. They're looking really, really cute. So what I've done is I'm going to put this out, so this will be a pre-printable. So what I'm going to do is just take some tape, and I'm just going to place that over the top, and then I'm going to cut these out very carefully, and then I'm going to stick them on. So I've cut them out, and I'm just going to, I've just put a tiny bit, this is just an ordinary tacky glue, this sticks on it, okay, well, so I'm just going to pop a bit of glue on there, not very much, tiny bit, there you go, and I'm just going to rub it across the back with my finger. So the front of it obviously is covered with the tape, so you don't have to worry too much about getting it on there. Pop it on. I just sort of bent them just a tiny bit first so that they sort of could go around it, and then what I want to do is to put the two pots together, because I want them to sort of be in line with each other, about the same height up the pot, and there we go. So I've got my tea, my coffee and my sugar. There we go, and I think these look really sweet. I hope you like this activity. Goodbye.